It is now my honor to pass the baton to the distinguished new conductor of this orchestra, a man of many talents, Mr. Paul Stanbery.
Actually, it was Paula Aronoff and Rita Lyon that found Paul, brought him in, interviewed him, and decided to hire him, and then they told the symphony board that they hired him.
Today, though, we would like to honor Paul with just a small token of our appreciation for all that he has done for our community and for the Butler Philharmonic. Oh, we can come up here. Now, I only had so much room down here because there's a lot of things we could put on here about Paul, his dedication, his passion, but most of all, more than anything else, an appreciation of your dedication to the Butler Phil. It says it all. Thank you, Paul.
I really had not had the opportunity to know Paul, to know his music or anything before I came here to Hamilton for interviews and then my audition concert. And what I found when I got to meet Paul was that I found him to be an incredibly giving person. You know, he had really developed something. He had really built a legacy here in Hamilton, and a lot of conductors are not terribly generous with something that they've created and something that they consider their child.
Paul was very passionate about the orchestra, about serious music in Butler County. And if it wasn't for Paul, a lot of these things would have never happened. He had that heart, that drive, that passion, and the talent to move us forward. So the orchestra probably wouldn't be around now if it wasn't for Paul. The chorus, I know, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Paul, and the youth orchestra wouldn't be here. So he elevated our community through the more serious music.
If you look at the evolution of the orchestra, you can see how it's gone from that volunteer basis to now being fully professional with a full season. These are fantastic musicians, many conservatory-educated musicians who are attracted to this thing that Paul had created.
It's a world-class orchestra right here in our neighborhood. Started out in 1951 as simply a string quartet and then became known as the Hamilton Symphony. So we came up with the idea, well, let's change our name and see if we can't take this beautiful music and reach out and play all over Butler County. The idea of a Butler Philharmonic, which means lovers of sound, Butler Philharmonic, became our new moniker.
I felt that I had kind of attached myself to a mentor musically, and not just from a musical standpoint, but from an arts leadership standpoint. He had a great deal of knowledge about leading artistic organizations.
If you hadn't known Paul, when you get to know him, he's a very loving and kind person, and he just made impact on people. And we have this thing called WOO, winning others over, and that was Paul. He had WOO.
The orchestra went through a series of conductors who stayed and used it as a stepping stone to build their career. Other than the first conductor, who was Joseph Bine, and he actually founded the orchestra, everybody else had a short tenure until I got here. And I think what I want to do is be remembered for having believed enough in the area and in the town and Butler County to stay here and help it grow.
His legacy would be that he laid a foundation for our future. He impacted people throughout Butler County by providing them a high-quality musical experience through symphonic music, through high choral music, through a youth symphony. He's provided that foundation to elevate the arts.
Being the new guy is always difficult. You know, there's always a little intimidating, and being the new guy who follows someone whose personality is so great, as Paul's was, is always a little bit intimidating, a little bit worrisome. But Paul made it such an easy transition for me. He encouraged me from the very beginning that I didn't have to do things the way he did it, put my own stamp on the orchestra, my own future, my own vision for the orchestra, and he was incredibly supportive about all of that. So I'm just happy that at the concert tonight we can pay tribute, pay homage to that legacy that he created here. I know he's still smiling down on us.